Welcome to my messy life. Take my hand and dive right on in with me. It's gonna be alright. Messy imperfect life with Leigh.
Hello, 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 hello. I'm so happy to see you guys again, to be talking with you again. I get kind of excited when someone cancels or something comes up and they can't come because then I get to talk and I miss just sharing with you. So I like these little breaks where I get to talk. So, hi, you guys. So, last night was an overwhelming one and I was tired as heck. I went out with my friend with Jill, had a couple drinks, came home, and then I watched part of a movie with my son, and it was getting later, and then Eve hadn't done her homework and she was fighting me on it, and I was tired, and Sergeant got really mad, and then they got into a push fight, and then I yelled at Sergeant, and then he took a tray and threw it, and it shattered this Craftsman media cabinet we have, all the glass. And I literally was like, it's like I had a temporary insanity scream that I haven't even heard come out of my body. Scared Eve and made Sergeant even more defiant, I think, because he was a little freaked out. But it's just so amazing that 1 minute can be smelling the flowers, things are great, house is lit up, and everyone's happy, and the next minute there's broken glass and me screaming like some weird creature in the forest that I would probably be afraid of. So after things started to calm down and I yelled at people, and then I yelled at my two daughters who had nothing to do with it because they went to get McDonald's, but dinner was made, and that pissed me off too. And then I texted them and said, get your asses home. I need you to help Eve do her homework because Sergeant broke something. Now I have to clean up, I have to watch him clean up the glass. I'm not cleaning it up. He's going to. So I made him clean it all up, but I had to wait till he cooled down. And I needed to cool down. And then I was mad my daughters didn't hurry home fast. And when they came home, they had McDonald's, but they didn't tell me they were taking my money to get McDonald's when dinner was already in the oven. So I was all kinds of pissed. All at the same time, it was like the perfect storm for me to explode into a crazy person. But here's what I love about that, is that that's okay. Everyone's reaction to what was happening, Sergeant's reaction, Eve being defiant, my girls not showing up fast enough, like all of that was okay. And that the thing that was not okay was, and it is actually okay, but here's what I'm working on. I get very reactive to what's happening. And then when I do, they all get reactive. And it's just like this symphony. My husband's stand-up show is called Symphony of Chaos. It literally was a symphony of chaos in a negative way, not in just an overwhelmingly fun way. So what I did was I went into the garage, which is kind of a converted laundry playroom. And I went in there and like tried to nestle into a corner where no one could see me. And then I was texting my daughters and I was bawling. And Eve came in, she's like, so are you going to help me with my homework? I'm like, can you not see I'm bawling? She goes, yeah, but you really want me to get done with my homework. And I was like, Eve, go to the dining room table, sit down. I need to cry. I'm trying to have a timeout. She's like, well, why don't you just go to your bathroom? And I was like, oh my, can I have a timeout here? And so she reminds me of Chris Farley, and she makes me laugh all the time, but she's also like balls. Like she's so damn strong, and she's 8. Anyway, all of that happened, and then I calmed down, and then my son was sitting on his bedroom on the floor, and I sat next to him, and we just looked at each other, and then I apologized for my explosion. And he goes, that's okay, Mom. And I said, actually, it's not. No one should talk to you that way ever for any reason. It's not okay. But thank you for accepting my apology. And then he apologized. And then he went out and started cleaning it. And I kept giving him different notes of how to do it, how to move things, how to vacuum on this level here and this level here. Because if one person gets one piece of sharded glass in their foot tonight from this, I might really go over the top, and I'm taking no one to the doctor. So we're going to dig it out with a freaking tweezer, or you're going to just walk with broken glass in your foot. So I was like, Sergeant, I have no more coping skills tonight. So we've really got to be thorough. You got to do everything I tell you to do. And he did, and he cleaned it all up. And then he said, can we watch Captain America? And I said, hell yes. And Eve and Sergeant and I sat down, and my girls kind of went in and out, and we all calmed down. And I like when stuff like that happens because A, it shows me where the work is I still need to do. B, I get to go into such a tenderness with my kids. I get to go into allowing them to see me cry and showing them how important it is to cry and how important it is to own your anger and to apologize for it and make amends for it. And, while it's happening, my body hurts and everyone's really upset. But afterwards, we have a new understanding and appreciation of each other because I think that they see I'm just human and that I'm doing the best that I can where I am. And I can see how my behavior affects them and hold them accountable at the same time for their behavior. So it's such a win-win or learn. I don't think there's a lot of winning there, but a lot of learning. So that's it. I just wanted to share a little mess because I'm so aware that maybe my Instagram pictures or my Facebook posts or my inspirational stuff, whatever, seems like I'm that, but really I'm all this. And then that's just stuff that I love to do on the sidelines. But the mess and the reality of life and the authenticity of living unapologetically who you are is what turns me on, which is exciting for me. So I wanted to tell too that I have this workshop coming up in October, and people were saying to me, why do I have to wait till October? Like, why aren't you doing your old things that you used to do all the time? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And I really heard from many different people that they wanted more bites, not having to wait for a big 2.5 day thing in October here, which is going to be October 18 to 20 if you guys want to come. And I'll tell you, if you're on the fence or finances or whatever, there's nothing better than investing in yourself, because not only are you showing yourself that you're worth it, you're showing the universe too that you're ready to take action steps to be more of who you really want to be. So anyway, I do have that thing coming up in October, but I'm really excited because I just created 4 1-hour online virtual workshops. So they're each 1 hour. And they start on May 14 at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So I would send you a link. I'll tell you about each one, but I'll send you a link. You click on it, you come on, and then we do this activity together, however many people sign up. And it's very magical. And what I know is with things like this, like the first one I'm going to tell you about sounds a little bit like, oh my gosh, that word is so sick. It's like when a word gets overused, it becomes kind of an eye roll thing, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the power of it. So first I'll just tell you the names of the 4, and each one feeds into the other. So the first one on May 14th, I think they're all on, can you look, do you have a calendar in your phone, Dave? Can you just peek and say May 14? Is that a Tuesday?
May 14 is a Tuesday.
Thank you. So every other Tuesday, there will be one. And it will just be 1 hour. And it's like quick and you're going to get a lot. The very first one is vision boarding. Now that's the word that I'm always like, oh my gosh. Because I think I rolled about that before I ever actually tried it because it sounded so bullshit or woo-woo. I don't even know what the word is. But I want to tell you a couple stories about vision boarding. The first is I met a woman who was living in St. Louis, Missouri. She was single, and she did a vision board. And one part of her vision board was her future home, her partner, like all of these things. And then about 6 months later, she met a guy, and they fell in love very quickly. And then they got engaged. And then he got a really big job offer in Hollywood, California. And so she flew with him to start looking at houses. I think this guy had some money because the area that she ended up in was pretty amazing. But she started looking at houses with him. The second house she walked into the kitchen, and it was the kitchen from her vision board that she had seen in some magazine that they were featuring somebody's home. It was the kitchen from her vision board, and she ended up marrying that guy and moving into that house that was on her vision board, I think 18 months before. That's crazy shit. Then, or it's magical. It's crazy if you don't believe in it. but it's magical if you know the power of it. Then I have another friend, and this isn't a vision board per se, but it's the same concept. Her name's Renee. And Renee was working in a job, whatever, and she was working with her best friend, and they went and saw a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I don't remember exactly what it was, but something in it. I don't know if it's I'll Be Back. I don't remember what it was, but whatever one of his movies, she loved it so much, and she loved Arnold in it. She loved the movie. Her friend went and got her a 6 foot or 6'1" like cutout of Arnold, and when she wasn't home, when Renee wasn't home, the girl went and put it, the steps that go up and there's a landing and then you go up. She put the 6'1" Arnold on her landing. So when Renee came home, she just walked in, she's like, ah, she didn't know what it was. And she was, oh my gosh, and was laughing her ass off that her friend left that. 4 months later, she was working for Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's this full-blown cutout, and 4 months later, she's his employee at his home, back when he was with Maria, I believe. It was when he was governor, and she works in politics, and she worked with him for 8 years very closely, and now they're dear friends, and they travel often and go skiing together every year in Aspen and blah, blah, blah. So from her loving him, loving that movie, getting that cutout, she ended up in his home working for him. And they have a beautiful relationship. So I was just like, it's so interesting that we have all these big thoughts here. And guess where they stay? Here. A vision board is the first way for you to take that out and into the world, right? Because it's no longer a concept. It's something tangible that you can hold, that you can see, that you can remember every day. And when we do the vision boarding, I want to see what my note says here. We'll nail down what the best looks like in each area of your life. So it won't be like just all about a house. It will be like this corner. I think we'll have like 4 or 6 segments, but one will be your ideal job. Even if you're not working, if you could, and you never had to be embarrassed and you knew you wouldn't fail, all of that kind of stuff, what would you be doing and how would it look? Like for me, I would be on a sold out theater with thousands of people like Tony Robbins. So I would take a Tony Robbins picture and I would just superimpose me on it and then put that on my vision board. And then my house, I think I would keep this house, but I would get a beach pad, like a 3-bedroom condo. So I could go to the beach for the summer or go whenever I wanted with my kids or go to Wright, whatever. So I would create my beach condo in, somewhere around here. I'm not sure exactly. I got to work on it before we do it. But anyway, each area of your life, what your relationship looks like, your magical relationship, even if you're in one, what it would look like if it was your dream relationship. Or if you're not in one, what it would look like if you were in one. Or if you're married and you're not sure it's going to last, what your next one you would hope would look like. Or if you could make your current relationship your dream relationship. So mine would have meditating together, praying together, hiking Fryman Canyon, holding hands with our dogs together, attending a spiritual center or whatever, church on Sunday with me. It would be with me in my spiritual walk, because I think that's where my best self resides. And then my crazy ass human self is a whole different story. So anyway, I would like to connect that. So that would be part of mine. So it'd be career and home and money and love and whatever else you can think of that's important to you. So we'd have what the best version of that is on your board. So that's the very first one. And what I'll do is when you sign up for the vision boarding one, I'll send you an email a week before of all the things you need to have prepped and ready. So when we do it, we actually can just put it together, and we'll do a little guided meditation first to let us be our highest selves as we create our future. And then we'll do it together, and then we'll do a special blessing on that. And then 2 weeks later, which is going to be on Tuesday, May 28th, it's called Ideal Scene. So we're going to take one of your areas from your vision board, and we're going to put whatever it is, like the word, we're going to draw like a little circle, and we're going to write career. And then we're going to take a ruler and make all these lines out of career. And then we're going to fill in the details of what that looks like. So if mine was selling out theaters, it would be on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, sharing my story, opening for, or actually performing with Tony Robbins. You know what? It'd be like all going on the talk shows to talk about what I'm doing, spreading my message on big formats in front of a lot of people and touching as many people as I can, whatever. All the things would get super specific with it. And then at the end of the ideal scene one, so it's taking one thing, writing all the possibilities of what's going to happen, what you have to do, and what's coming from it. And then you have kind of a blueprint to create that thing. And then we're going to take one of them and do a 3-foot toss, which means instead of saying, I'm selling out theaters, it's I'm getting on more stages to speak. Then I'm starting to get paid to speak. Then I'm partnering up with powerful people and we're collaborating to put on really big events where people are paying us to speak. So it's kind of doing like that and just building, building, building. So we'll take one area, break it down, and then we'll take one of the spikes and do a 3-foot toss to start bringing it into your world. And that's so funny because one of the things I've talked about before is I made out a lot in bars and just ran. I didn't even want to know people's names because I felt unworthy and all my old stories. And then before I met Dave, I stopped making out with people and just started dating. So whoever would ask me out, I would say yes, but I wouldn't make out with them. I just wanted to practice the talking muscle. And it was painful as hell. One guy held his hands in upside down pine cones the whole time. And then we'd go to a Mexican restaurant, which is my favorite food, where I like to eat like a ton of chips and salsa. And then I like to have a burrito. And he would say, would you like to split a burrito? And I was like, no. But I would say yes because I was trying to be demure. And then I was pissed at the end. So anyway, that went on for a while and that stopped. And then I dated a guy who put me in like a little car with him and rolled up the windows. And it was hot for some day. And he had the heat on and he had the worst breath I ever smelled in my life. And I wanted to start crying. And then during dinner, I was just like, I can't sit here. And it was really like traumatic for me because I was trying to open myself to a new thing. And it was like stabbing a fork into my eyeball. And the last one, I put my arms around a guy in my backyard, and he was kind of cute. Said editor from my work, one of our clients, whatever. And he said, can I take you to dinner? I said, yes, because I have to practice this muscle. So we're out in my backyard looking up the star, and he was going to put his arms around me. And I was like, I'm not making out with him, but I guess I'll give him a hug. And I went to put my arm around him, and my finger got caught. His shirt was untucked, and my hand went up his back. And I felt like werewolf hair. So much like I could not find his epidermis, and I was digging my fingers through the hair to try to find it. And I was so freaked out that I was just like, softened my hand and put my grip out, looked up at the moon again, trying to think, how can I segue from here to get his ass out the front door? Like, I can't do this. And so after I walked him to the front door, I dropped to my knees and I was like, God, I've been doing this for a long time on my own. It's not going so well. I need some help. Here's what I want. And I said, I want a tall guy. And I want him to be funnier than I want a tall guy with a kind heart, funny, smarter than me. And when I meet him, say this is him so I don't get drunk and chase him away. I was really clear with what I wanted. I asked God to assist me and then I let it go. And 3 weeks later, I met David at an airport terminal. So I know with clarity, knowing what you want, partnering with power, it can manifest like that. It's crazy when we actually do the work to move forward, what we can bring into our lives. So the vision boarding is going to help with that. And then the ideal scene, breaking that thing down, and then giving you an action step to move forward to manifesting it. It's really simple. It's not going to be overwhelming work. It's going to be fun and enjoyable. We're going to laugh a lot and you're going to learn new things about yourself. And you're moving forward to create your dream life. You're no longer hoping or wondering when it's going to find you. You're going to actually co-create it. Okay, so that's the first two. And then from that, we're going to do an hour on limiting beliefs. And that is June 11. Because no matter what the hell you have going on in your mind or your heart or what you want to do, if you have a thought that you're not worthy, that you don't matter, that you're not good enough, who are you to do it? You can't do it. You can't move forward. You will derail yourself. You'll stop yourself. You'll crush it. You'll make an obstacle. You'll put up barriers for yourself. Like, that's how we are the meanest. We are the meanest to ourselves. We are what do I always say that? I can't remember right now. No one will ever be meaner to you. No one will ever treat you as bad. No one will ever speak horrific words more than you will to yourself. We are our own worst enemy. So we want to remove some of that. We want to free up room for success and freedom, and not the binding thoughts that we hold that keep us sitting in the same spot for our entire life. So it's really simple and powerful. And you already will have your other things in place, and you're going to push over the obstacle. So when you do your 3-foot toss, it's clear. Your path is clear. You're no longer holding yourself back. And then the fourth one, which is going to be, they're all 2 weeks apart on a Tuesday. This one's June 25th, and they're all at 12 Pacific Standard Time. The fourth one is coming home. And if there's one thing I know for sure, all of the work that we are here to do on the planet is here. Every single thing that shows up here is teaching us where we need to work here. Some things are saying you're doing a good ass job, and some things are saying, anytime I get mad, I go, I'm so freaking mad at them. I can't believe they did that. I can't believe there's that rage anger inside of me that needs to come out, and they're showing me the work that I need to do. So you can go from blame to owning your shit, and there's nothing more powerful. I put for coming home, after we identify, start moving towards, and remove the obstacles, barriers from our dreams, we will set up a self-care practice to support this new way of being. So some people call it a spiritual practice because it links to the higher power available and within all of us. And some people call it self-care practice. I think it's a spiritual self-care practice. Self-care just means you're doing things to honor yourself and take care of yourself. So I'm going to help you pick for you, every single person that signs up, the exact spiritual practice that's right for them. Whether you bring religion into it or you bring whatever it is, I don't. I just know that there's a universal power that resides within all of us that connects all of us, that we have access to. So I like to set my day up accessing that first and moving from that place of power instead of going, I wonder what the day is going to bring. And here's what my spiritual practice looks like, and it takes like 3 minutes. Well, the first part does, or less. As soon as I wake up, I put my hand on my heart and I close my eyes and I tell my younger self, who is feisty as hell and who ran really fast and hard and whose needs were not met. I tell my younger self, I just say, I've got you. You're no longer alone. You're going to be okay, and I've got you today. Because if you don't realize that you have these old thoughts and hurts from your childhood, your younger self still resides there. They haven't been healed unless you've healed them. So you've got to hold that younger person, or you're going to way overreact to situations where your emotions aren't really fitting what's happening, or you're going to derail yourself, or you're going to get super drunk and fucked up and miss whatever you're supposed to be doing because these old hurts. And it's kind of like there's a temper tantruming person or a really sad person, and all of a sudden you get swept with these emotions. You're like, where's this coming from? Because my younger self doesn't match my adult mind or my spiritual heart. So all of a sudden I'm like, all right, I'm drinking too much. What's going on with me where I feel like I need to drown something? Where am I hurting inside or whatever? But anyway, I just check in with my younger self first. Then I put my feet on the ground and I say my little morning mantra I wrote, which is, my Lord, my God, allow me. It's so exciting to me. I'm getting choked up. Not really. My throat's so damn dry. Hold on. I didn't mean to swish my mouth out in the microphone. So I say, my Lord, my God, allow me to be the woman you created me to be. Let me be of service today, and let me do all of this on the foundation of love. And in that, and then a little gurgle just came out. Then in that space, it doesn't matter what the hell comes up. I'm already linked into why I'm here. I'm already knowing I'm going to be of service. I'm already open. And then the last thing I do is I set my intention. I think about what's happening that day and what I want from the day. So I stay on track and I let the universe know this is what we have to get done today. Partner with me. So I describe an intention like a GPS system in your car. You push in where you want to go and you hit go. And you don't say, well, how am I going to get there? How is this pinging from that, pinging from that, pinging from that? How does this car know where I am? What if blah, blah, blah? It reroutes me, sometimes not the best way. Sometimes it takes longer, but I end up where I'm going because I know where I'm going. So it's the same kind of thing with intention. You go from, I wonder what's going to happen today, to co-creating your life. And sometimes I set the intention with the other people I'm going to meet with, like I will go to the school and say to the teacher, my intention is that you and I can come to an agreement of how we can both best serve my son to navigate this challenging time at school. And then we're on the same team. They know exactly why I'm there. It puts me at ease and the other person. But really, I do it mostly just for me in the morning to remind myself why I'm doing what I'm doing, to let the universe know which way we're moving and what I expect from it. Then I can receive it. So it's manning your ship. It's captaining your life in a split second. So it's just amazing. Yeah, and we'll try out different things that feel right for you. I always meditate. No, I take that back. I want to say I always meditate. My best self always meditates. When I don't meditate, I'm all of a sudden like, why am I screaming at my kids? Why am I overreacting? Why did I drink too many cocktails? It's because I'm not connecting with my power. I'm not connecting. I'm not quieting my crazy shit and connecting with who I truly am. So we'll find something that works for you, whether it's doing what we did not do at the beginning, which I like to do, is taking 3 deep breaths. It could be something as simple as putting your feet on the ground, which I'll do right now with you. Join me. Putting your feet on the ground, uncrossing your legs, putting your palms down on your lap, which is more grounding or open to receive. And then you're literally giving your intention for that. The universe, I want to receive today. I want to be grounded. And it's taking 3 breaths. I like to do just in through the nose, hold for 2, and then out through the mouth. I love to close my eyes, as you can see, because it takes away all the things that can distract me. And it helps me just get more centered. But I like to just go in through the nose. Hold for 2, and out through the mouth. When I do my Facebook series, I do 3 breaths. And in the first breath, I say to myself, it's time to come into the present moment. In the second breath, I say, God, let me receive the information that needs to be said today. So I'm partnering with power. And then the third breath is just gratitude that I get to do, that I even get to sit here in this chair, that I get to have this microphone in my face, and David here helping me, and you guys tuning in, which I'm in gratitude for. Thank you so much, because this brings me joy. It's good to do what you love. It's good to do what brings you happiness and joy. And I think when we do that more and more and more, and we get more and more like doing what we're supposed to do, I think we get abundantly rewarded for it. And I think that that is when you're not working a day in your life, because you're living what lights you up and you're getting freaking paid for it. So it's amazing. And there's so many different ways like this podcast that you can create for yourself to do whatever the hell you want without having to wait to be chosen, without having to wait to be validated by somebody else if you should be doing it or not. Like, oh, here's one other thing I want to talk about, the manifesting and the vision boarding and all that kind of stuff. So I recently started speaking a few years ago, like 3 years ago. But I've been working a lot before that with improv and stand-up comedy and all the other things. But once I got linked into who I was spiritually, I just wanted to speak about my mess, what I learned, and all the wonderful things that come from heartache and struggles. So anyway, I remember I kept trying and fighting and trying and trying and trying. And by the way, when you're trying something and it's hard, you're not in line with what you're supposed to be doing, because when you are, it moves with grace and ease. So I was trying to get into this. There's this camp, empowerment camp, and people kept telling me you need to speak there. And then the woman said, well, you need to come attend it first. So I went and paid to go, and then she still didn't hire me. But I wanted that, and I was trying to force it. And this is not the energy you come at anything with. But the things I kept getting when I would go to there, and they're like, sorry, you're not an expert, is what they would say. And I was like, okay. And I settled for that. I'm not an expert. And then somebody else would say, sorry, you haven't written a bestseller. I was like, no, but I got one in me. Okay, whatever. And I started settling for that. And then I looked up the word expert, and it means you've been doing something for a long time and you've gotten pretty good at it. And I thought, okay, I've been parenting for 20 years. I sucked at the beginning only because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I've gotten better on each child. So my youngest should be my healthiest, my Chris Farley. But anyway, I was like, oh my gosh, I just had one of those moments where I lost my thought into a pothole in my brain. David, what did I just say? I looked up for a second and thought I saw a squirrel in my guest house, and I lost me. Um, expert being it. Thank you myself for telling myself. Parenting expert. So I thought I could be a parenting expert. Hell, I've been doing that. I know what I'm doing. I'm getting better and better. And I've been through probably every scenario you could think of with really different kids that you have to endure, go through, come out of, and learn from as a parent. I've done it. Wait a minute. That means that makes me a parenting expert. So I allowed myself and my mind to own I'm a parenting expert. Cut to 3 weeks later, my magic number. 3 weeks later, I met Dave. 3 weeks later, I went and spoke in Aspen, my first time in front of a really big kind of conference, and nervous as hell. I did pretty well, but I got just nervous. And then after that night, they had a fundraiser for these people that I didn't really jive with, so I didn't feel like even listening, but I said I'd come. So I said hi to everyone. Then I sat up at the bar, and I got an appetizer and a martini. And then this man sat next to me. Now, I had seen this guy speak because he had so much knowledge and information. His name is Punacha Machia. He's from India. And he is kind of Deepak Chopra's right-hand man. I did not know any of this. All I know is he spoke, and he had some really interesting information and numbers and stats, which normally I fall asleep to, but his were meaningful. If you move this often, what it does for your brain. If you try this one thing, what it does for your brain. I was like, wow, that's easy, tangible bites of goodness. Like, I really, really like to hear him speak. So anyway, I'm sitting at the bar, minding my own business, never, and eating and drinking. And then he sits next to me, looks, and he smiles at me, and I smile at him. And I said, hey, Green Eyes, you got a pretty good head on your shoulders, kid. Keep it up. He's like, excuse, what? And I said, I heard you speak. I really liked hearing you speak. Normally I fall asleep when people speak like you do, talking about what you were talking about, but I was intrigued and I got some real nuggets from it. He goes, really, what? And I was like, oh shit, did I get nuggets? I couldn't remember. So I remembered a few and told them to him. And then he said, tell me about you. And I said, well, I spoke today about manifesting. He's, what have you manifested? And I said, oh, my husband and 5 kids after I lost my uterus. And, I just started saying all the things that I had manifested from here into the world. And then he kept listening to me. You got 5 kids, huh? Tell me about parenting. How's it been? I was telling him my messiness and my learnings, and probably, I'm sure I cried like twice, and then ordered another martini. And then he said, could I have your business card? And I said, sure. I didn't even know his name. I gave him my business card. And he said, I have to go catch a flight back to wherever he was going. So I said, okay, nice to meet you, Punacha. So he left. 2 weeks later, he calls me and he goes, hey, I want you to check out this app called Jiyo, Jiyo. It's a global well-being app. And I was like, okay, Punacha, like, kind of bold of you to ask me to check something out when I don't really have a relationship with you. Like, I have a lot on my plate with my kids and my stuff and all this stuff. And so he said, well, would you check it out? I was like, yeah, sure, I'll check it out. I got on. It was too complicated. I got off. So he called me back 2 weeks later. And he goes, what'd you think about the app? I said, I'm sorry. I didn't really stay on it long. I don't have time to navigate stuff. And it wasn't easy for me. And he's like, what wasn't easy? And I go, on the front page, it should just say this. And I can touch it and then go into that area. But you have everything listed so much that it was too overwhelming. And I didn't have time to navigate it. So I don't do things that aren't super user friendly. I don't want to have to work to get in something. I don't want to have to, whatever. So he goes, well, I heard your notes. Would you open a few things while I'm on the phone with you? I said, sure. So he talked me through how to do stuff. I go, okay, well, why are we doing them? Why am I looking at this? He said, well, I wanted to ask if you would be our parenting expert. And I said, who's our? And he said, Deepak Chopra and I have created this new global well-being app, and we want you to be the parenting expert. I was like, what? I couldn't even believe it. And he couldn't see my face because we were on the phone. So I made just like faces and weird movements because I was so frickin'. I could believe it, but I couldn't believe it. that I have been shut down because no one labeled me an expert. And then I sat by that man and he just labeled me an expert. And I was like, yes, I would really like to do that, Pudancha. Yeah, so could we talk more about what that looks like, whatever? He goes, yes, fantastic. Let's set up a meeting. I'll be in LA on this date. And we met and we really appreciated each other and had fun. And I went a couple times down with him when he was hanging out with Deepak Chopra to hang out a little bit and trying to be quiet, but I couldn't. I kept blurting out questions and he was looking at me like, bite your tongue. I was like, I can't. That's not who I am. I don't know how. But I had some interesting conversations with Deepak from that. And I'm their parenting expert on the Global Well-Being app. So the knowledge and the things that I've learned from knowing what you want, allowing yourself to start exploring more of what that looks like, allowing yourself to remove the belief that you're not the thing, that you aren't already the thing that you hope to be. You already are that. You're getting the little breadcrumbs because you're supposed to walk that way. And I just keep walking that way, and more really beautiful, magnificent things keep happening. So anyway, I'm doing these workshops. I'm doing the 4 workshops. I'm going to tell the date again. There's going to be a link here when this airs for you guys to click on and sign up for them. I highly encourage that you do. They're not expensive. If you do all 4, they're even cheaper. They're $25 for the Zoom call. And then if you get all 4 of them, they're $80, which is $20 a piece. And it will change your life. It's like anytime you do anything to move forward, you do anything for clarity, you do anything to be more healthy, you will be rewarded. So I can guarantee you that. May 14th, vision boarding, 12 o'clock. Ideal scene, May 28th at 12 o'clock. Limiting belief is June 11 at 12 o'clock. And coming home, creating a self-care practice, spiritual practice to support you when we're done. You all have a practice in place to help you continue to next level yourself. I like that we can next level ourselves. We don't even have to have a job or be in an office and hope and cross our fingers and beg for something. You can next level yourself. So let's level up, people. All right, so that's that. We're going to have a link here for you to sign up, all 4. And then the other thing that I'm offering, and this really excites me because what I found is the power of storytelling is a game changer for CEOs. If they get up and tell a story that is from their heart and they're vulnerable, all of their employees are going to see themselves in this story. When I share a story, other people can relate because they've experienced something similar. So a CEO stands up to share his story with his people, who before he was like, we got to get our numbers up. We got to do this. He's a nice guy, but he's just doing this kind of stuff. And everyone's filing their nails going, does talk again? The minute he shares his heart, the minute he tells why he's doing what he's doing, what his mission is, what drove him to start this project, the more vulnerable with your storytelling, which is our heart, which is our life, which we all have. I love too about stories. There's no one on the planet, not one person who can tell your story, not one person on the planet who has your perspective, not one person who has your take on an old stale lesson or your take on something they never even thought about before. When you share your story, not only do you heal and allow others to do the same and allow them to relate and connect and trust you, but you also, what was the last point of that? I'm having an odd day. So you will also remember and remind others that we are not alone. We are all connected in the mess. We've all got it. And that's when we get quiet and we shy away and all that. But really, that's where we can truly see each other and ourselves, is in the mess, is knowing that somebody else is struggling and going through heartache. Then we soften. And when the CEO speaks to his employees, they soften, they see themselves, they care deeply about him, and they want to work their asses off to be a part of this beautiful place. If you're selling something, story, the power of story. If I walk in and go, hey guys, I have a great product, here's how it works. If I said project, you probably like, I'm not buying from her already because that's a product. But anyway, I'd say, hey, here's my product, here's what it can do for you, here, da, da. And they'd be like this, how much longer till happy hour? All right, sure, we'll look at it. But if you come out and you speak from your heart and you let them see who you are and let them see that you're trustworthy and that they can connect to you, they're going to buy your product. So story not only will make you money, but it will make you comfortable in your life. It will make you own your greatness because you are sharing powerful stuff that you learned from mess of your life that has put you on this path. That's what hook, line, and sinker people to you, right? You have a great product, who cares? You have a great story, they care, and they buy. And I just love it too for my work that I do is I got some really kick-ass tools in my head and in my heart. But they don't matter if you can't share how they've changed your life, what they've done for you. So anyway, this one's going to be super cool, and it's the first 10 people that sign up. So if you have all interested, sign up. First 10 people. The date of this one is Saturday, May 25th. It's an intimate day with me, honing, shaping, and using your story as a power to make money and as a power to more deeply connect with other people. It's going to be a powerful day. First 10 people that sign up, Saturday, May 25th. It'll be from 10 a.m. in my guest house at my home from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And lunch will be included. And so for that whole day, it's $99. And you will come in nervous and vulnerable, and you will leave knowing and powerful. Oh my gosh, I just can feel my body. It's going to be magic. So if you cannot fly into LA for that all day on May 25th, join me online for the little bites and chew and swallow and poop. No, I'm kidding. I was trying to think like how you take that out into the world. It just goes into a toilet if you bite, chew, swallow, and poop. But you will bite something new, chew it, get all the juicy flavors of it, digest it, and then vomit it out.
You'll walk around with it inside you for a little while and then poop.
Yeah, you'll walk around for a little bit inside you, you'll poop, and then you'll mold it as a beautiful gift to share with people. Should I do that with poop or vomit? Probably neither.
A little column A, a little column B.
Okay, whichever one you prefer. That's up to you, what you're going to make out of it. So that's it. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm doing these workshops, vision boarding, ideal scene, limiting beliefs coming home, 2 weeks apart, buy 4, get them cheaper. And I just promise you goodness and love and inspiration and upliftment and actually propelling you forward, up, next leveling yourself. And then the 10 people intimate day with me, diving into our stories, sharing, getting up on your feet and working them out. All of it. It's going to be amazing on May 25th. So look for the links on this podcast. I can't wait to see you. I love you guys. Why do I love you? Because you're my brother. You're my sister. Why are you my brother and sister? Because we are all made in the likeness of one God. And that is pulsing through our veins. And that is this gold thing that connects each and every one of us. And when you start to realize every single person near you, you are related to. You are all children of God. You're all connected. It's so beautiful because you go from isolation and I'm alone or I don't to, hi, beautiful people. Even the ones that think different, especially the ones that think differently than me. I love people who don't have the same thoughts that I hold. And I love to be curious with them and hear their side and their perspective. And that is empowering, healing. I'm learning and enriching and connecting as opposed to going, they're not doing life my way. They're not in the right church. They're not married the way I think they should be. They're not. It's like, who gives? Everyone's doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing here. And it's such a freedom to see that, to realize it, to honor it, and to connect to it. All right. I'm going to just do a little blessing on us. Why not? God, universe, higher power, thank you for giving us our time on this planet. Thank you for connecting us with a beautiful golden thread that I can plainly see how connected we are. Open our mind and hearts. Let us step fully into what you have created us to be. And let us find why you created us. Let us find why we are here, and let us use that to make a difference in the world on any level. Help us level up. Amen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I can't wait to connect with you next time. Have a beautiful, blessed day. You're all bright stars, and you all have the power of 1,000 stars right here. Right here. Bye. Bye.